All right, you guys, I finally had some time to play through Hi-Fi Rush on the Xbox Series X, and this was a wonderful surprise at the Developer Direct that Xbox released not too long ago. It was a stealth drop. We didn't know it was coming, and this is so very different from Tango Gameworks, who brought us the Evil Dead games and Ghostwire Tokyo. This is not a crazy, scary survival horror type of experience. It's a very cartoony, Ratchet and Clank-esque action-adventure game that's all rhythm-based and timing-based, and the idea is incredibly clever, and the whole aesthetics of the game are absolutely wonderful, and the music is cool. The tie to the music is really, really fun in this game. The rule set that this game provides is so clever. It's just so intelligent and so well-defined. And the developers have done a wonderful job at sort of adhering to the principles and then stacking on new systems and giving you lots and lots of challenge and lots of different ways to approach playing the game all the way through the experience. But it's not perfect. It certainly evokes a lot of the Insomniac-style Ratchet and Clank flavored exploration leading to combat arenas. There is a bit of a circuitous kind of route through some of these levels. You'll see secret areas that you can unlock, and if you gain new abilities, you can go back to some of these levels and some of these areas and gain access to new secrets and new power-ups and new abilities, which is really cool and really fun. But there are also a couple of things that I noticed that got on my nerves a little bit with this game, but I want to preface any of my complaints with the fact that I was playing it to review it. I wasn't playing it to just have fun with it. The fun is definitely a huge part of it. And honestly, when I streamed this, I streamed the opening levels of this game, I was having nothing but fun because the game does a great job at onboarding you into the experience. And a huge chunk of the opening of the game is very similar to the thumb candy, that button candy that you get when you play a Ratchet and Clank or a Jak and Daxter. It's just cascading gifts and rewards, and it's really gentle. It really takes you in. You're just like, I'm kicking ass at this. And then about a quarter of the way through, or maybe a little bit further, they throw in the parry system. And so at first when you're playing the game, it's really just hitting the sort of regular attack, and then there's the more focused, harder attack, and that affects the timing, so there's a rhythm to it. So everything in the game has rhythm. So every move that your character makes, you play a character named Chai, and then you've got this little robot cat, which is absolutely incredible. I love the characters. Chai and 808 is the cat's name, and it becomes this little ball that hovers behind you. And then you have all of these allies with different powers that you can call in that are all robotically enhanced and mechanically enhanced. So anyways, I was playing this game to review it, and I was just, trying to chow down as much as I could so I could get back to you guys and tell you what I think about it. As, other things, everything else was happening. This was a stealth drop in the middle of other planned releases and other reviews and things that I was working on. But I was loving it until I got into having to also learn this parry system. And the parry system obviously it's all rhythm-based as well, but you'll get attacked and you're trying to use your parry move or your dodge move as these bosses are attacking, and they're putting up all kinds of symbols for you to kind of follow along, and there's all of these rhythmic illustrations on screen, and you're timing to that, but the bosses are pretty tough, and sometimes they'll have huge electrical effects or fire effects or something like that that will area impact, or they'll have saw blades coming out behind them, or they'll be flying from a great height and they'll come swooping down at you. So visually, you're looking at all of this stimulation, you're trying to sync to the rhythm of the game, and I was having no problem syncing to the rhythm of the game when I was just dealing with my combat moves, but when I had to have these defensive parry moves included in that cycle out to these new combat moves, and then the enemies escalate because the game, quite rightly, assumes that you've got all of these systems down and everything is going well, and so the difficulty starts to stack as the systems and your abilities start to stack. And I found that a little bit overwhelming. And it wasn't so much that the gameplay was overwhelming, it was how noisy the game was audibly, because sound and music is a huge part of what you're dealing with when you're playing the game, but also visually. There are meters and levels and indicators and things happening on every part of the screen, and meanwhile flame streaks are crossing the path, electrical, systems are firing up, you've got things hovering and swooping and flying around you, and sometimes those things are shielded, so you have to call in Peppermint, who has the ability to shoot the shields out, and then you're cycling through your different different characters. Macaron has the ability to punch through harder surface shields, and then you've got another character that you encounter along the way that has this wind power that will blow out fire. Incredibly useful. And so I found myself like completely just stunned by how many things I was having to watch and look and listen and think about as I'm being attacked by all of these enemies. Honestly, I wouldn't have felt so pressured and overwhelmed if I was just engaging with this game an hour at a time over the course of a couple of weeks or something like that. But nope, I had to deep dive into it and just try to get through it and deal with all of this stuff happening all at once, and it was a little bit too much of a pressure cooker for me to just relax and enjoy it, which was different from when I streamed it, which was just chill time and wonderful, and it was beautiful and everything was cool. And the other thing that this game does, and again, this complaint comes with the caveat that I was just trying to consume all of it at the same time, just too much of it to get back to review this thing, and that's not the way to enjoy the game. Play it, you know, like a track a night. A track is like a level a night. Just enjoy it over a long period of time, a week or 2 weeks, and you're gonna freaking adore this game. But I didn't play it like that. I was just trying to get it into my brain, and I noticed that it felt like a lot of the levels felt like a chunk of a level was just taken from here and placed over here, and these robots from here are brought back and they're used over there. And so what I noticed is that not only was I overwhelmed by the systems and all the mechanics that I had to figure out as I was playing through the game, but I also got a little overwhelmed by the repetitive qualities of the game. It felt like not only the robots are used again and again, but a lot of the sort of navigational elements, the explorational elements are used again and again. There's a different kind of paint job, but everything is so hyper stylized and oversaturated with color that there's a sameness all the way through it. And I also felt like I was in a lot of corridors and a lot of interiors, like going through factories or like volcanoes or something like that. But I felt like I was crammed and a little bit claustrophobic inside of these areas again and again. And they kind of overstayed their welcome in the way that I played it, you know? Like, I just felt like, okay, let's get to the end of this level, let's get to the boss, but this was like the ultimate, the princesses in another castle game, where it was like, nope, the boss, you get to the boss, and the boss has a really well animated, beautiful sequence, but then it runs away, and it's like, oh, okay, I've got to climb up here again, and then I will get to the boss, and that happened again and again and again. I felt like, in the way that I played it, it was kind of grindy, especially during the middle part. I feel like the beginning of the game is excellent and the end is excellent, and through the middle part it felt like, okay, we're seeing a lot of the same things again and again, we're doing a lot of the same stuff again and again, and I guess that's to train you and to teach you with the mechanics. But again, I was trying to consume it as quickly as I could. I still walk away from this game unbelievably impressed by its imagination and its beautiful art style, the terrific work from all of the performers, all the actors, the musicians. I played it mostly in streamer mode because I was going to use some of these clips. I played it online in streamer mode, but there's licensed music in here as well, and just this collection of ideas to put something together and surprise us in every literal way that Xbox and Tango Gameworks could is just awesome. And it really underlines the unbelievable, immense, immeasurable value right now of Game Pass. I mean, this is a terrific example of why every Xbox owner should have Game Pass. They should play this game. And I definitely feel that way. I don't feel it's as good or as polished or as refined or as fulfilling for me as something like an Insomniac Ratchet and Clank game, but it's an excellent part of the library for Xbox. They needed a game like this because they have so many shooters and racers, and they need more stuff like this. They need more RPGs, and they're getting it, they're buying it, they're acquiring it, and they're investing in it. But this was a great step from everybody involved, and I really dug it. I'm not like over the moon freaking out game of the year, love it. I am at an 8.5 out of 10 for Hi-Fi Rush.